All right, everybody, welcome to the Collector Safe Space Membership Spotlight. Now, why am I doing this? Well, several reasons. One, this channel is not about me. It is about what I do, but it's more about the people that I interact with on the daily. And of course, my brother right here, who I watched this morning. I got up this morning. I did not have a cup of coffee while I was watching it, but I got my boy, Hey Archer, who is a member of the Collector Safe Space and just a fellow nerd. It's an all around great dude. Just, you know, I had to bring him on here again because I felt like he teased us this morning with a short, nerdy coffee. So he has to be here
short.
now. It was a short one. So look, Dre got his coffee. I got my boy, and he said I was in the zone, and I'm in the zone. Like I'm in the when you see the foam, I'm in the zone. Yeah, I watched a lot of videos today.
I love that.
So my brother, I'm glad that I hope you had a good day at work. I'm glad you were on. LeBron, thank you for coming on in the chat. So
Happy birthday to you, LeBron.
Yeah, exactly. Cheers to you. Happy birthday. So, Archer, I have to ask, what has been like your best pickup in the last couple weeks? Like your best toy pickup?
Ooh.
And I ask this because the reason.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've been blessed with a lot of drops over the last month. It was a dry spell. There you go. There's this guy. I gotta. It's
just
not 970 Customs. Like Mikey's something. He does a lot of customs and like figure swaps. And he took that Banner, Bruce Banner. I was like David Banner. He took that Bruce Banner and like did a kit bash and made a Doc Connors from Spider-Man with one arm.
See, I could do that. I could see you doing that because he looks like him.
Yeah. He took the right arm, he took off and put on the, I think, J. Jonah Jameson, or he said he could use the J. Jonah or the Moon Knight with the suit because they have the same kind of color, but because the sleeve is cuffed, I guess because the sleeve is like a little cuffed, you can make it seem like, you know, how Doc Connor has the usually folded in or something.
Yeah, I could see you doing that with this. I would never take Mr. Knight apart because I love Mr. Knight.
It's a good figure, yeah.
It's this damn good figure, and this is actually not a bad background figure for fig photography.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I love that figure. So, what was your pickup? I have to know, what was the pickup?
Yeah. Like, I think honestly, it was what I picked up today. Not something really hard to find, but I haven't seen it in person yet. But I said if I found them, I'd pick them up right away. And it was I just call him the Godfather. I picked up the Godfather today, Nation of Domination figure.
Nice.
Because I want that nation on my shelf. And I did a little video. I'm going to edit it later for a little TikTok. But right now I have up there Farouk, D'Lo Brown, and Mustafa, I guess. But I call him the Godfather.
Yeah, but they should have a Rocky Maivia. There should have been an old school legend of Rocky Maivia.
The Rock coming. I mean, I hate the fact that I'm gonna want to buy a Rock figure. T3's been dragging me through the mud on this one, but I want to buy. There's a tracksuit Rock coming out. I'm gonna have that one. Or they also have the Rock in like the polyester like shirt with the white shorts and the slides. I'm gonna get one or both and have that with the nation.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
Heel.
I love that. I see that sounds awesome, and I love that as collectors we can do things like that. We can have like that simple setup. And I'm glad you found it. You found that at retail, or did you find that like
they're on sale this week actually? So $3 off. But you know, I think I talked about it with you before, or at least in chat I've talked about it. Where if there's a figure that I either always wanted or like it never existed or it meant a lot to me as far as representation goes, I'm buying it. I don't care if it's full price or on sale. So I bought D'Lo Brown full price, and then today when I went to Target, I saw Mustafa, rung him up, and he was on sale like $3 off. So I was like, all right, great. But I would have bought that full price, no problem, because I would love more Nation of Domination figures for sure.
Oh yeah, I think representation. One, I love. That was something I wanted to bring up with you about today because I feel like you and I have been, I guess, more active in the community when we speak about that sort of representation for being
Mhm,
people of color.
mhm.
But the Nation of Domination in particular, it's something that I distinctly remember growing up loving. We are the nation
Yep,
of domination.
yep.
Like it was something that you didn't see because we didn't even know Farouk was the first WCW heavyweight champion till WWE did his retirement.
Hmm.
And I just found out today that what was it? Oh God, R-Truth.
Hmm.
He is the first recognized black heavyweight champion for the NWA. Not
Oh,
even Bobo Brazil, who won the belt years before. They don't recognize him.
interesting.
And I was like, Bobo Brazil was huge. Like that guy was like, huge in Puerto Rico. And for those of you that are not diehard wrestling aficionados, like that is like 60s, 70s wrestling.
Mhm.
So that's like a long time before my generation because even though I'm 45, I'm still, 80s WWE.
Yep.
But yeah, I've never seen Rocky. Oh my goodness, you've never seen Rocky? See, LeBron, if you're trolling me, dude, I'm gonna throw something at you because how could you have not ever seen Rocky? Like,
What? He said any of them.
like there's seven. There's seven Rocky movies, and then there's three Creed movies. How could you have never seen any of the Rocky verse?
I believe it though. I believe it. There are people out there, you'd be surprised. The franchises they've somehow missed, didn't check out. Like even for me, I mean, it's LeBron's birthday, so I'm gonna defend him a bit.
All right,
I
go ahead, go ahead, go
not
ahead.
not until recent years did I watch Ghostbusters like all the way through. It was probably 2020. So, I claim to be a nerd, run a nerd channel, and yet I had never seen Ghostbusters in its entirety until 3 years ago. So I'll give him a pass on that, but that's because it's his birthday.
Well, he also said that he hasn't seen James Bond, and that's
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
personal slap because I love me some James Bond, and there's
Given that
enough Bond
there's enough Bond for sure. For
that you
sure.
could have easily jumped in and seen any of them. The best one to go see, obviously. I mean, if you're gonna pick a Bond, oh God, this is hard for
Ooh,
me
that's a hard question there.
because I've Connery was Bond. Like as far as like I remember as a kid watching Roger Moore. I'm
Right.
gonna skip over the one that doesn't count because he only had three movies and was terrible. And then
Dalton?
you go from
Oh, wait.
yes,
You mean Pierce Brosnan?
no Timothy Dalton. I'm skipping over because he's terrible. Three.
You didn't like Timothy Dalton? Oh
I
wow.
hated the Living
Wow.
Daylights,
Yeah,
License
yeah.
to Kill.
Yeah.
Those movies were horrible, horrible movies.
They were definitely
Like,
not James Bond. I will say that. They definitely weren't James Bond.
but he didn't feel like Bond. Like
No.
License to Kill was as close to a Bond version that I
Right.
saw out of Dalton, but like it
Well,
wasn't till I
do you
got
think
like
that was
Brosnan.
do you think Timothy Dalton crawled so Daniel Craig could walk? Because I mean, he was kind of a scruffy, more rugged, not as
He was the
polished
short.
James
He was the
Bond.
shortest one. Yeah, he was the shortest one, and I think that if we look at it, like, I think for the dark-haired look, because you got to remember, like, Connery came in and was like that debonair,
Right.
suave,
Right.
like good-looking dude with the very good with the polish,
Yeah.
right? Then you get Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Roger Moore was like your Adam West look, like the
Yeah.
blonde hair with the
Yeah.
blue eyes.
Yeah.
Very different Bonds.
Yeah.
I felt like Connery was more your action-oriented Bond, and
Yes.
Roger Moore was more of like your Playboy style
Yes.
Bond. And
Yep.
then you get Dalton, and I felt like Dalton was like your complete step away
Yeah.
from either one of those like
Yeah.
versions of what Bond typically looks. Then you get Brosnan, and Brosnan was fantastic.
Yep.
We get 6 movies out of Brosnan. GoldenEye being my favorite of them all. And what was it? The World's Not Enough. Those are my 2 favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to Craig, and I'm like, all right, Daniel Craig, I like him. I like him as Bond. I did not like I didn't like Casino Royale as much as I wanted to.
Interesting.
But I did like the fact that there was continuity for the first time in Bond films. There was a line that you can follow from Casino Royale through to Spectre. You can follow.
Could you?
Yes, you could. Skyfall? Come on, man. Skyfall?
I like Skyfall. I did like Skyfall.
That was I think the best one of that series of films was Skyfall. And then obviously Spectre was I think the sleeper hit because it was post-COVID.
That was No Time to Die is the last
No
one.
Time to Die. That was a post-COVID one.
Yeah.
So Spectre was good because we got Batista, and I loved him in that movie.
I feel like I haven't seen that one though. Now you say that.
That was okay. That's where it opens in Mexico, where he's doing the Dia de los Muertos.
Oh, I did see that. Okay.
So yeah, that one. Yeah. A lot of people forget that one because Batista had one line in it, and he says "merde." He says shit. That's his one line in French, and that's it. And he was Jaws. Go figure. He was supposed to be the reincarnation of Jaws.
Yeah.
But did we need? I mean, he killed it for me. Yeah. I loved him in that. And then you have, what was it? After Spectre was No Time to Die, and No Time to Die was I think was a good way to cap off and finally, to a degree, kill a Bond, because they've never killed a James Bond.
Correct.
We've always known that the mantle has switched.
Yep.
But straight out, they killed him. And I don't know how I feel about that.
I watched, my friend who is a huge Bond fan was like, that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. He was so angry about it. And
I believe it.
I could understand it, because the overall issue I had with that series that I think a lot of people had an issue with was the first movie was sold to you as this is him just starting to become Bond. This is your Batman Begins movie. Yes. And it's funny that both franchises do the same error, same misstep, where the first movie is the first one. They're learning how to do their thing. And then by the time you get to the next one, they're already on the verge of retirement. And you're like, wait, where did all that middle stuff come from?
Yeah, what happened? What happened? How did we jump from A to X when we didn't even see the rest of the letters pop up? Yeah, I get it.
And in that next Bond movie, didn't they pull a Jason Bourne where it's he gets out but the girl dies or something, and then he's like,
no, wait, so Vespa dies in the first one.
In the first, right.
Vespa dies. Because technically in the first one, we see him get involved. He falls in love with Vespa. He dies in the movie. She dies in the movie. And then he comes at the end of the movie. It leads into Quantum of Solace. Mm-hmm. Quantum of Solace picks up 10 minutes after he kills the guy at the end of Casino Royale. Because that's how that's where I remember the first thread was. Because he's in the car racing away with the machine gun, with the sniper rifle in his car.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm out, because then he ends up going after, I think it was Olga Kurylenko is the Bond girl in the second one, the Russian chick, who's not pretty at all. She's just she looks like somebody hit her in the head with a hammer. bad Bond baby. Go over there.
Yeah.
And she was in there, and then they went to Mexico. He retired. He was supposed to be, he was put on a break because of what he did because of Vespa. And then he went to, not Mexico. He went to Miami, and then he went to he went to Cuba, and then he went from Cuba, where they had Jeffrey Wright, who I love. Yes. Jeffrey Wright's character. He is such a fantastic actor.
Was he in the first one too?
Yes, he was. He played the agent all the way through till the last movie, till No Time to Die, where he actually gets killed.
I was about to say, oh yeah, he's James Gordon in the movie, and I was like, wait, He's not, but he kind of is.
He kind of he so is. It's like he's such and he's such a good actor. It's like Jeffrey
Yeah.
Wright. Yeah, we're spoiling it because if you haven't seen these movies, they've been around for like I don't know, like 50 plus years. You could see it. You know, you
I
can
had the
jump in on
movies up
it.
in order, and then I was gonna like try to find the one to watch, and now I went down a rabbit hole of Dave Bautista movies. Since you mentioned Dave Bautista and Spectre,
Oh, dude, Dave Bautista. I can give you. I mean, first off, what you got? The Hotel Artemis, which is freaking fantastic. Love that movie. I saw that in theaters, and it was one of those like sleeper artsy fartsy film theaters I
Mhm.
saw it in, and I loved it. Then you got The Knock at the Cabin, which is stupid, but I mean it's M Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. I mean
Yep.
it's what it is. You know, you got Spectre, you got Blade Runner.
Yep.
Uh,
He got gypped in that one. Like he
oh yeah, he
He-
didn't have much lines in it, and it was in the beginning, like 15, 20 minutes of the movie. That's all that's all he's in it.
But then there's the deleted scene came out where he's in like this replicant bar,
Mhm.
and it's like pretty good. Like it's actually like he can act. Like, and I'm like, they just didn't give him a shot, you know? Like they just kind of like, oh, you know, this is the scene we're gonna cut out. But
Think
I was
you
like, he's actually,
look at him, and tell me that you don't typecast him
yeah,
because of his looks, not because of his acting capability. Because
right.
he's proven that he can do it. It's his look that gets him typecast. Because look
Yeah.
at what he did with oh god, the army movie he just did, the one with
Army
the
of the Dead?
zombies. Yeah,
Army
Army
of
of the Dead.
Yeah.
Great movie, great film,
Yeah.
fantastic character.
Yeah.
But single note, he's a military guy who goes
Yep.
in to save his daughter.
Yep.
Like, you know, then they did the prequel movie with the Danish dude.
Army of Thieves.
Because, yeah, I think it's Army of Thieves was the prequel movie, which is the setup for how he gets to America.
I didn't even watch that. I forgot that came out. Wow.
Yeah, that's the prequel.
It's 2 hours. Wow, it's a full-on movie.
Mhm.
Holy crap. All right. I'm gonna check
It
that
opens
out.
up basically, the beginning of that movie opens up with him like you see the OCD that he has. And it's like him like looking at clocks in his house, and his house is very like clean and neat and it's very, very good.
Mhm.
But again, it's one of those movies that I was like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I could take it or leave it kind of movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those I watched it because I saw the sequel, or it's the prequel to the movie,
Right.
so I wanted to see it.
Right.
But it's you know, the inevitability is I know where it's going to end up.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's like I hate when they do movies like that. Like you can't show me, like if you showed me this one first
Mhm.
and then showed me the other one, I would have been a lot happier because I would have felt better, like knowing he's not going to die. But
Right.
you know, of course he does. Look
Yeah.
at my brother from the outer dimension coming
There you
through, Dave. But yeah,
Well, what's cool about him that I like over a lot of other actors or action stars is he takes damage and can be quote unquote vulnerable in his movies. So like the
which he
first
needs to
one,
be.
yeah, the first one I saw where I was like, oh, he's breaking the norm was Bushwick. The movie
Oh,
Bushwick,
wow. I
he
forgot about that.
it's like a Last of Us type thing. It's like him and like his daughter on the cover. And I was like, whatever. Like I forgot. Let me actually, because I have it up here. That one came out in 2017. So I
Okay.
like, I had it up. I was like, you know, I'll put this on as background noise. Wasn't bad, but he wasn't like a tank. Like he's a big dude and like former army, but like he gets injured through the whole thing because he's like trying to escape Bushwick through these like, I can't remember the plot completely. I feel like it's like a Red Dawn, like there's a Russian invasion or something in New York, and he's trying to get out. I think that's what it was.
It's funny because I feel like I saw the movie.
Yeah.
And like I don't. Let me see. Because
I just remember I remember the one badass scene that I even had a Instagram story reminder of the other day is he's like going down this alley and there's a bunch of Hasidic Jewish men like protecting their block and like throwing like Molotov cocktails at people and stuff. And I feel like it's another army they're going against. But I was like, this is badass. They're just there like all dressed up, like with the big hats, just straight up like like shooting the enemy. Like it was pretty cool. It's a
Yeah,
pretty good movie. Like,
it-
like,
it's not-
well,
I'm gonna
good
check it
being
out.
like 80s style, like a solid C plus, you know?
Yeah, it's Aesop Rock did the music, which I like him because Aesop Rock is freaking dope.
Yeah.
Brittany Snow, go figure. Okay, I'm gonna check this out. I'm gonna
Hmm.
have to, like, 'cause I just went to like I was like, let me see like his like this his like filmography, and I forgot that he was in Riddick.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, who was he in Riddick? I don't even. But then
He
again, I don't think I
plays
saw Riddick.
Diaz. He was one of the bounty hunters
Oh.
that was on the ship. I knew he was in Kickboxer Vengeance
Hmm.
with Jean Claude because I remember like he was the guy who basically replaced Bolo Young.
Right. Oh wow. Yeah, you're right.
That
You're
was and,
right.
and that was like because they just played up on it. They were like, "We're gonna
Yeah,
make Batista be big."
because
Then
he's like Filipino and like
yeah, because he's
you can
Filipino
kind of
and Puerto Rican.
yeah. So they're like we'll make him look a little bit more Asian for this one.
Exactly. Like we'll just brown him up a little bit more.
Exactly.
Sit in the
Exactly.
sun. Sit in the sun for a little bit, Dave. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know. Then it's like I forgot. I know he was in the Escape Plan, the Extractors, the sequel, because he plays the criminal in that movie to help with the escape.
Hmm.
Army of the Dead, Dune, Glass Onion. I liked him in. I don't know if I loved him in Knives Out, the sequel
Yeah.
for Glass Onion, but I think he did good. Some movie called Parachute.
Don't
It's
know
an
that one.
American drama. It's supposed to come out this year. Then Dune Part 2,
Yeah.
and then
I'm
a
excited for
sequel
Dune
to
Part
My
2.
Spy. Oh yeah, Dune's gonna be freaking dope.
Yeah.
Wait, why they gotta be so has why they gotta be Hasidic?
Yeah.
Because if it's in the
Were.
neighborhood, dude, if they're in the neighborhood, bro, you gotta remember. There's a funny story about when so I was training in New York, but I was living in Virginia at the time, and I was training in martial arts, and my master was Jewish, Hasidic Jew,
Hmm.
and I had to train in Brooklyn, but the school was in a Hasidic neighborhood, so I
Yep.
parked my car, but I drove through the Lincoln Tunnel, and I
Yep.
left my lights on, and I didn't realize I left my lights on in my car. So I get out my car, I go train for like 6 hours with my master, right? So this is like first degree black belt training I was doing in New York. I was loving it.
Hmm.
Finish it, I'm exhausted. I'm like, I go grab a slice of pizza and I go to my car, I sit down, I turn my car and it doesn't turn over.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? So I get out and I see a bunch of like Jewish guys, like they're just outside of their stoop talking. I'm like, hey
Yeah.
sir, how's it going? And they're like, hey buddy, your car issues? I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, we can't help you till like 7 o'clock tomorrow. And I'm like, oh shit. So I had to call my aunt and my uncle from a payphone like 4 blocks away. And they had to drive from the Bronx to Brooklyn to
Yep.
give me a jump because I didn't have any AAA or anything like that years ago.
Yep.
Oh my God. Lesson learned.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
park in a Hasidic neighborhood, folks.
On a
'Cause
Friday.
on a Friday because they will not help you. It's not because I'm brown. They just didn't want to help me because I wasn't. They can't
They can't.
because of their religion.
Yeah.
So, but hey, Gilster, it's good to have you in here. And again, happy birthday to LeBron Fett. I mean,
Mhm.
again, brother, we wish you the best. I'm glad you got to enjoy it. I know you were going through some stuff, and like I said, to take a minute to enjoy and celebrate the fact that you're here with us and you're one of our brothers. We salute you, dude. Enjoy it. So, exactly. Salute. Mm. So this is a perfect topic because we're covering movies and we can talk about representation because I love Dave Bautista who represents us.
Mhm.
What do you think about, and this is actually older films because I'm going to respect you because we over at the Out of Dim podcast
Yeah.
have taken up your challenge and we have not done any reviews or any talk about anything current. So what do you think about people of color being represented during the 90s? Not black
Oh.
exploitation, which we saw come back briefly in the
Right.
late 90s, early 2000s.
2000s. Yeah.
I'm talking like, what do you like? Because I'm gonna give you my take,
Mhm.
my hot take on this. I think that the first real representation we had was
Mhm.
Blade. was Wesley Snipes opening that door.
We're talking about
in-
nerd movies specifically then.
No, I'm speaking in general. Like
Oh, okay.
I'm covering the I'm saying that what I've noticed was when I was, because Dave and I do movies every Wednesday, and
Right.
when I was going through my library and I was rewatching some stuff, and I watch everything. I watch drama, comedies, westerns.
Mhm.
I have not noticed any people of color as like main stars or anything
Right.
until I saw Blade,
Right.
and that's what I felt. So I wanted to see if you felt the same way.
Well,
Little Mama.
I mean, the thing is, I would say it wasn't even Blade in theory, because
I'm listening to you. Let me go grab her a snack while I'm listening to you.
Yeah, you're good. Because let's not forget that Blade was released when Marvel was like almost at its lowest. Like, it was not Marvel as we know it today, where they're like, oh, let's take a shot and make this Blade movie because Wesley Snipes at this time is like the biggest star ever or anything like that. Like, it just wasn't a thing. So it was dope that it blew up the way it did and became as popular as it did and all that stuff. But I think there was very much a lot of typecasting going on at that point in time. I'm trying to think of the first time I like saw somebody on screen and I was like, oh yeah, like I feel like represented to the extent of, like, I always use the example of Savio Vega and Nation Domination, like Ahmed Johnson. Like, I remember sitting there being like, oh wow, like we are next to the gladiators of our time. Like, Ahmed Johnson's wrestling like Stone Cold. Like, to me, that was like,
oh god, when he tag teamed with Shawn Michaels, and they were and like you had this great. That's I agree with that. And I'm looking at Dave now. Dave, when I say representation, I don't like see New Jack City, Boys in the Hood. I can go down those. Those are movies that are not that were.
You were typecast. Like, that's the only movie we got.
Yeah, like that was like Chris Rock was in New Jack City as a crackhead.
Yeah.
And that's how people realize Chris Rock got his start. New Jack City, everybody remembers New Jack City for Wesley Snipes being, the King of Harlem.
Yeah.
I'm talking like people like Denzel, like Glory, like that level of movie, like Samuel L. Jackson. See, that would be one I would say I can pick him and say I can agree that in Pulp Fiction, I
think the first time I saw somebody and I was like, oh, like we are marquee next to the larger name is probably like Independence Day. Like, I think Independence Day is like the first time where I'm like, oh, like somebody who looks like me is like not a gimmick of some sort. Like, he's a military guy, he's a pilot, still has his family, there's no divorce there, like he's got his kid,
didn't have a kid out of wedlock. It was like he had a typical like good upbringing, not
living
like
in a nice town. Yeah. So I think it was probably then, because even like Bad Boys, when I think of Will Smith, like even that was still like, for lack of better phrasing, like for the culture. Like, that was still a black movie. Where Independence Day, I think, was like everybody.
Like, because everybody was represented in there. You had Goldblum representing white people and Jews, and you had the guy that talks like this.
God, yes.
I love him. I forget.
I love that guy.
He's on Sesame Street, and that's why I laugh, because every time I see him play the Easter Bunny on
was
Sesame
he the
Street,
bad guy in Blank Check? Was that him?
Yes, it was. Yeah. See, and then I get Harvey Feinstein.
Harvey Feinstein, yes, I love that guy.
Yes, and then obviously Dave did really bring it back there right here with Fallen. Fallen was one of my
Fallen's good movie, yeah.
Now see, and that's where you can say that's where I feel another film you can take from the mid '90s, and literally say, because you had what was it? Roseanne, her husband.
John Goodman,
when he got possessed.
Oh shit! Guy's in that movie, yeah.
Because he plays his partner.
Yeah,
and that was like that movie. Dave. Speaking of which, we do have to review that. That should have been on the summer.
I gotta watch that again. Yeah,
because that was good.
Fallen's the one where the devil passes by touching, right?
Yep. by
Yeah,
touching.
yeah,
And
touching the shoulder.
that,
'Cause in school we were doing that. In school, like we would walk.
yeah, you run up to somebody and be like, whoop, and then you be like, don't touch me, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Like, ah.
What the
Yes,
fuck?
dude, I remember that. Oh my god, that was such a
Yeah,
great damn movie.
yeah,
And people slept on it. And that was like, dude, then you have like, John Q, which again, now that's a movie made for the culture.
right, right.
But then you have Fallen, which is like complete suspense, action,
Yeah,
horror, like a true
yeah,
horror film.
yeah.
And that's another one. Like I can now add that to my list. But it's like, think of John Leguizamo. John
Mhm.
Leguizamo was really kind of typecasted
Yeah,
as like the typical Puerto Rican
yeah,
guy
yeah.
in
The
everything
pest.
he did.
Yeah.
In The Pest, he did it with Mambo
Luigi.
Mouth and even Luigi when he was in Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
But then you look at it like, what was it, Carlito's Way, the sequel,
the prequel one.
or the
Yeah.
prequel one where he plays like where he plays like a guy.
Oh, Benny
He was also
Blanco.
in Benny Blanco.
Yeah,
And then he was in Serpico.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm going old school because that's
yeah,
my
yeah,
parents took me to the movies to go see those.
yeah.
But like that's an interesting way to see that we don't see it, like, because now representation means something slightly different.
Right.
If you look at it in the now versus then, I'm looking at it then because I feel like where people are now starting to recognize this, and I notice it with Spider-Man, and it's he seems to be the one that brings it right back to me. Miles Morales, this Spider-Man movie, if it does not win this coming year, I will be surprised.
I mean,
For
it's only one
animated
movie
film.
that's going to beat it.
Well,
The Flash. That's for you, Dave.
wow, that's right there, Dave.
Bro, I love that movie. I'm so embarrassed.
Dude, I love you.
I'm so
Like,
embarrassed.
I love you, bro. But when you say,
yo, tell me how I left that movie and said top 5 superhero movie all time.
wow, like how you left that theater the way my family and I left seeing Spider-Man. We were just like, this was fantastic. I can't wait till this is on Blu-ray. Papa, did you pre-order it? Yes, I did.
I left The Flash like our great grandparents left Gone with the Wind. They're just like, holy shit, that was the greatest. It was like the same way my mom left Ben-Hur. She was like, holy shit, that was the greatest movie I ever seen in my life. That's how I left The Flash. I was like, holy shit, that was a good
No. Last movie I ever left the theater like that was when I walked out of Infinity War. When I walked out of Infinity War, that shit hit me right in the fucking feels. I got kicked in the feels. They're like, hey, you want to feel bad? We're going to kill everybody.
But here's where they ruined it. Here's where they ruined that movie. They released like a month prior that they were going to drop a Black Panther movie, that Tom Holland had signed to do like 2 more movies. And then when they faded in the theater, I was like, oh, they're coming back. Like, then everybody else was like, oh no. And I was like, wait, they resigned for movies. What are you guys talking about? But if not for that part, I would have left that thing, like you said, like freaking like kicked in the balls.
Endgame. I think I left it that for. So then, we take Infinity War out, and Endgame out because those were 2 fantastic films.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like you can't count. It's like you can't count the 2 best superhero movies when you're talking superhero movies.
You can't, because I think that they were so
good.
They bookended 10 years.
Yeah,
like you literally you cannot emulate that. Like you set it up and knocked it out the park. But if I have to pick a movie in the midst of all those, oh my God, Captain America: Civil War. I walked out feeling kind of sad because I mean the fight scene. It was our first Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that we got this, and then I would have to say the Winter Soldier, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Like I walked out that movie like that movie was. T3 says it, and I agree with them. Probably one of the best superhero films of the modern era.
Yes, 1000%.
I think story was on point. Characters were on point. You cared about everything. It introduced new characters to us. It was the quintessential masterclass in how to tell a superhero story.
Yeah, easy.
And do I count TMNT as superhero movies? I count them. It's hard because I've seen the animated stuff. I haven't seen the new one, Mutant Mayhem, yet. But You could, you couldn't.
I count. I'd count them. The first two at least. The first
Yeah,
two. The first two like toe to line, and I think since then it's gotten so cartoon kitty that like I don't know if it counted as a superhero movie, but by the way, I'm not going to review the movie or anything, but pleasantly surprised by the new one. I saw half of it on bootleg with the person walking in front of the camera, like old school, and
mhm.
even with that crappy quality, I was like, oh wow, all right, but I'll leave it at that. But I think the first one for sure, because I think to be a good superhero movie, at a certain point, you have to be like fully immersed into it and believing that like what you're seeing is some sort of reality. It's not some sort of like it's not like Teen Titans Go where everything is. Don't get me wrong, the Teen Titans Go movies are good, so I'm not bashing those movies,
Oh no, but
but
they're funny. They're meant
they're
to
funny.
be tongue in cheek. They're
But
tongue
yeah,
in cheek.
you're like I'm watching a cartoon. Like I'm blatantly watching a cartoon here. Where like the first two TMNT movies, even though they're live action, to me they're more closer to a Batman 89 than a
Yes.
Teen Titans Go is closer to like a Batman and Robin. Like it's more wacky, more whatever.
Look, it's Holy Rusted Metal.
Yeah,
Look, it's rusted and it's got holes. Yeah, it's exact.
totally.
I agree. I 100% agree with you. It's
Yeah,
when you take apart like what defines a superhero movie. I feel like you have to look at the masterclass in it, which is that film. I mean, Batman '89, by far one of the best superhero films of my childhood.
yeah,
I mean, next to Superman. And again, you can't replicate those movies. Like you can keep Keaton. I could take Keaton and put him in a film, but it's proof positive in the Flash. I cannot make chicken salad out of shit.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and
You know, well,
that's sad.
so I think as I further dissect the Flash in my head over the last couple months, I think they do such a bad job at some plot points that it makes me like it more because they're trying to not do a bad job, but they're like blatantly stealing other storylines and changing them. So for example, when they find spoilers for Flash for anybody who has haven't seen it yet.
Oh no,
But
no. I give everybody 30 days.
yeah. I was like,
30 days to see the
it's been a
movie.
while. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um,
it's
like
already on streaming.
when they find Keaton in that house and he's all bummy, whatever, but like still with it, I'm like, oh, you were like, you're ripping off The Last Jedi. But I kind of wish Luke Skywalker did that. Like, I wish Luke Skywalker was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm in. Like, I'm back. And they didn't do that. So I like that part of it. The
No, we get
fact that,
creepy him drinking the green milk.
yeah.
Like that's all we got.
Yeah. So I like that aspect of it. And then, thinking about the whole like army of Kryptonians arriving and us putting up a fight. I was like, this is so ridiculous. Like and it made me remember why I hate Man of Steel so much. I'm like, the plot point of this movie is that these Kryptonians are coming down and purposely trying to nerf their own abilities and potential powers for the sake of being Krypton again or making like Krypton 2. Like it was so stupid that I was like, oh, this movie's like emphasizing more how dumb of a plot this is and repeating it over and over because it keeps going back in time. I was like, I love this. I was like, I love
Oh
it.
yeah, it broke my heart because it's
Yeah,
it's like you're looking at such a like conceptually. I'm like Zod's actor, fantastic.
great.
I
Michael
loved
Shannon, right?
yeah, I think Michael. Yeah, and I loved Kara Zor-El. I
Yep,
loved Supergirl.
yep.
She is Senorita Calle. She's
Yeah,
beautiful. She represented us perfectly.
yeah. It made
I
no
would love.
sense, but it was still good.
Yeah, I mean, it
He was
made
good in the role.
if I could have made her have her own film, yes.
Mm,
Like, would I love James Gunn to get his head out his ass? Nope. Like, and again, that's like if I'm speaking about what's going on now, get your head out your ass, put her in a film.
yeah,
Like she proved that you can find the gems in the turd, and the gem in the
right.
turd was her.
Yeah,
Because I care less about the Flash now than I could have ever, and I liked the Flash going in. Like I
Mhm.
was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be cool," and then it's like when my teenage daughter doesn't like the movie, and she's like, "It's kind of goofy," you
Yeah.
know.
It
So
was a microwave thing. When the microwave thing happened in the beginning, I was like, all right, I know what this is. And then my
see you.
brain went into that mode.
I was done. I was done at
Yeah.
that point. Like I was eating my churros. I will
Yeah.
never forget this. Like I
You
bought
took
these
churros
churros.
into the theater? I love
Oh
that.
no, well, dude, they had them in the thing. Like I was like, I needed a
Oh,
snack,
what?
and it was like 10:30, and I was like, man, what do they have? And I was like, I didn't want popcorn, so I looked up, and they were like mini churros, and I
Wow.
was like, can I get these? And they're like, yes, we'll make them for you fresh. And I was like,
Wow.
so I had fresh churros. I looked up at the screen, and I saw the baby in the microwave, and I was like, as the father in me was like, I would never, ever, ever put my daughter or my son in a microwave to
Yeah.
save him. That's like me putting Rory in the oven. I'm gonna
Yeah.
save you.
Yeah.
Get in the oven.
Yeah.
It's like, and then it, ping.
It made 0 sense. And the graphics were so bad. It's like I was like
hey Chris,
can we spend more time seeing this Batman chase scene and less him talking to nobody while this building's falling down? Like it was so bad. But again, at that point, I was like, I see what this is. This is the top of the mountain. This is I see that this is gonna be a shitty view the whole way through. I'm down. I'm down. Similar to Justice League, actually. When I
oh
saw
yeah,
Justice League, I actually enjoyed it because my brain at some point shut off
no wait,
and
wait,
like
which version of Justice League are we going with? Because
the
I'm going.
original, the original,
Oh,
whatever version we call that
the
one now.
non that's the Whedon one,
The
right? Or
Whedon, the
that's
Whedon
the
cut.
Whedon. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
Whedon cut,
yeah,
not the 8 hour Snyder cut,
right.
which is I personally feel like that's what salvaged that film for
I'm
me
gonna
because
watch that again.
I've watched it twice and I've taken breaks while watching it,
That's what
and
everybody says. That's
you
what
have
everybody
to,
says.
you
Yeah,
have to,
yeah,
you honestly like. So I remember the day Max aired it.
yep,
I was the only one in the house,
yep.
and I sat there. Well, it was me and Rory because she was a baby. She was sleeping the whole time. I was like an hour and a half, paused, hour and a half, paused, came back to it the next day, continued, and I appreciated the parts because it felt like I was reading a comic book
Right.
while it was like, and it was giving me like good book points. So like, if I wanted to pause, I knew what point, like where you could
Right.
tell the scene was going to end and it was
Yep.
going to pick up somewhere else.
Yep.
So that's why I say if you do it, just give yourself a day that you're not doing anything. Even if you're editing a video, you could like do something else while watching it.
Yeah.
Because it's that good a film.
I think what ruined it was two things. One, I'm a huge, not sarcastic, huge fan of the Snyder cut Batman vs Superman. I
Yes.
think the parts they put back into the movie help make the movie make more sense. The movie as a whole doesn't make sense, but it helps like form it a little bit better to where
Well,
you
because
can watch it
you needed the Snyder cut for Batman v Superman
for sure.
because of the fact that the when I left the theater in what was it 2015
I think you're right.
2016 yeah 2015 2016 when I left the theater I was upset because I felt like this is such
16.
a good movie but why why do I see these Mack truck size
Holes.
plot holes
Yeah.
that I have no idea? Like, why is Lex Luthor like
Yeah.
worried about Darkseid coming?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why is Lex Luthor like,
Yeah.
you know, like how does he know Bruce Wayne and like and he has this like issue with Clark Kent? Like they
Yeah.
already gave
Yeah.
Eisenberg and Cavill, like they had like so like this animosity already. And it didn't make sense at the party because I was like,
Yeah.
unless you don't like the newspaper and you don't like his
Right.
girlfriend,
Right.
that would make sense. But
Yeah.
there was no reason for you to already
Zero.
be like, you know, I'm gonna be angry at you because I'm
Yeah.
like Luthor and I know you're Superman. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is like I get you.
I wish I could find the Instagram post I made, or maybe it was Facebook. I don't even remember at that point. But I did a post on like how blessed we were that year because it was like the Power Ranger movie, Batman vs Superman, and there was something else that was dropping, and I was so excited going into all
2016.
three. Yeah,
Okay,
into
I'll tell
all
you right now.
three, and all three of them just freaking dog shit after dog shit after dog shit. It was just, but
Civil War. We had Civil War that year. We had Suicide Squad that year.
Suicide Squad might have been the other one.
We had
Civil War. I don't think I trusted it going into it. I think I was like kind of excited, but I think at that point I was kind of like iffy on where we were gonna get with this one. Suicide Squad, I was excited because I'm a huge fan of the animated movie Escape from Arkham.
yes,
And when
which
I
is a great
heard,
film.
yeah, when I heard that Affleck was in it, and when I heard that Jared Leto was in it, I was like, oh, it would be so dumb of them to not just copy that movie and make it live action. And they found a way to fuck it up. I was like, what are you doing?
Mm.
And
Well,
I was just
we
like,
got. I'm trying to think here. We also had Deadpool that year, Doctor Strange that year, X
good.
Men
Yep.
Apocalypse, and then the last Star Trek movie of
Ooh.
the Abrams universe.
I'm gonna say it was X-Men and Star Trek because the post I made was something along the lines of like, what year is it that I'm excited for these movies or like these franchises? So that would make sense if it was Star Trek and X-Men because it's 2000s and we're watching these
Oh yeah,
new
I mean,
versions.
and the thing that sucked about Star Trek, well, and I feel bad Star Trek took that hit was because the kid Anton Yelchin, he died,
Yeah, died now.
and he that tragic death that he had, and it was like that was his last film, and his
Yeah.
other film was oh god, I saw it with Patrick Stewart. It was Patrick Stewart plays a it was a oh god, why can't I remember? It was a horror movie where the Anton Yelchin's band goes to this like out of the way bar. They're playing, and then they find out like it's like this like Confederate like white supremacist cannibal killers, and they hunt them throughout the whole movie. And Patrick Stewart was the leader of the family. I was like Patrick freaking Stewart, like go figure, like of all things.
I'm looking it up now. Green Room.
Yes, The Green Room. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
Great film. One of
yeah,
those sleeper hits that a lot of people did not see. And I think I even have it on Blu-ray because I might have bought it on Blu-ray for like $5 at Walmart.
yeah. I'll
Because
check it out.
let me tell you all, folks, if you guys are ever looking for movies and you think it's gonna be good, Walmart will sell it for like $5 to $10. Pick it up because sometimes they're gems and sometimes they're turds. But I've been lucky that the few I've grabbed for 10 or 5
Mhm,
bucks are
mhm,
freaking gems. So
mhm.
just check it out. It's if you don't have a Netflix subscription and you want physical media, it's not a bad way to do it.
Yep.
And even if you do and you still like physical media, you know,
I do
no, it's
wish.
not the Green Zone, Gilster. It's called the Green Room.
Yeah,
The
Green Room. Yeah.
Green Room.
I do wish that because I for years like it took me a long time to jump onto the like music streaming bandwagon, but I was on to the buying digital movies, a long time ago, and already had started building an iTunes library and stuff. And I was all like at that time, even in the early 2000s or maybe like 2010 or so, at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm all for this digital move because I can watch it on my Apple TV, on my computer, anywhere I'm going, easy. And I think that the nail in the physical DVD coffin would be slammed if when you bought a digital movie, that version is what you got to keep no matter what happens going forward. And
True.
until they do that, I think physical will always still have a place and still be out there because the best example of course is Star Wars. Like
Oh yeah.
if you had bought a digital version of the special edition, it's now been converted into whatever the newest one is. And if you somehow found an iTunes version of the original Star Wars, that shit got overwritten a long time ago. Um,
Mhm.
So until they start doing that, I think physical will still be, because now you can, stream at the high bit rates to get like close to Blu-ray version. Like it's close enough now, but at least the Blu-ray, the version I bought, it's always going to be the version I have.
Yeah, and I think I did that too because for a while, I want to say in 2017, I was living with roommates back then, and I like didn't have a lot of room because I had just my room,
Hmm.
and I couldn't like I had a pretty extensive Blu-ray collection already, but I was like I can't go ham. So I started buying my movies through iTunes. So I have an
Yeah.
extensive movie library that exists virtually.
Right.
But I agree with you. It's like, God forbid you forget that password. There's all those
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they just decide to delete them. If they
Yeah, because
somehow lose a
they
license,
pull the license and
they'll
there
pull
goes
it.
you don't get the money back.
Yeah.
So I love Blu-ray. I love DVD. I don't love DVD media because obviously DVDs you can't up convert it. Like
Right.
you have to like download it. But I mean, I pretty much have like, and Dave and I've joked about this. Like, I have an extensive library through my 4 hard drives of movies and TV shows that I don't ever have to worry about. And then
Right.
my Blu-rays are pretty much just like the Marvel cinematic stuff and the DC
Hmm.
stuff.
Hmm.
Like pretty much we were saying, like LeBron was saying before, like the nerd movies. But I
Right.
mean, I do have my Bonds in there. I do have like um, Blade Runner in there. Like, would I love to go buy some older ones? I mean, pretty much now we're coming up on like the 50th, 60th anniversary of movies. I'm just waiting until they put a steel case out and I'll just buy the new one.
Right. Right.
Was it
Yeah.
still buy physical media to have it in a collection? So when your Wi-Fi go, dude, that's
Yeah.
so funny story. We had that happen here at my house for 3 days. For if everybody knows that my Wi-Fi went out here in the house because um, crappy internet in the old house. So we were out 3 days, no Wi-Fi. Now the hard line worked because I was able to play Fortnite and work on my computer, but like the wife and the kids did not have any Wi-Fi whatsoever. So the PS4, I have a stack of movies.
Hmm.
The kid, they were able to watch stuff because I have a stack of films. I have Disney Plus's library.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it's sitting there.
Yeah.
And if worst case scenario, I have the hard drive. You plug the hard drive in, bada bing, you can watch whatever you want to watch.
Hmm. Hmm.
But again, how many people do that nowadays? How many people
Yeah.
really, curate a collection?
Yeah.
As a collector. I mean, we're collectors already as it is.
Right.
So, and it's the same with video games. Somebody said that I don't know if you follow him. He does Review Tech USA. Uh,
Mm.
he said that officially worldwide, Sony has noticed an increase in digital media buys by 70%,
Hmm.
meaning 70% of all people that own a PlayStation 5 buy their games digitally.
Yeah.
70%.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous when you think of that number because I'm like,
Yeah.
but then I look at my PS5 and I'm like, oh yeah, I have a digital PS5. I don't need a disc PS5.
Hmm.
I could get one if I wanted it, like swap this one out and get a new one. But I was like, well, why? I don't
Yeah.
want to play any discs of PS4.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get it. It's
Yeah.
it's space, convenience.
Yep.
You know,
Random sale.
random sale. I mean, do I miss out on those? Yes, because people will be like, "Oh man, Dre, you can't play like you can't go to GameStop and get like any used PS5 games." You're right, but then again, GameStop's in the toilet.
Yeah.
Best Buy doesn't sell used,
Yeah.
and if I buy something used, I don't really know the quality from Mercari or eBay or anywhere else like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why invest? You
Yeah.
know. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the way we're like. Do you buy used toys? Yeah, we could buy vintage toys or
Yeah.
modern toys that were not really heavily played with.
Right.
But I mean, there's no market anymore for it. Like if you look at it, it's been changing. And that was the other thing I was going to ask you too. Have you noticed the trend? It's something that you've been covering on your channel, and as an active follower of yours, have you seen that trend make that move? Like it's the needle moving away from that. Like we're getting away from going to the stores. It's mostly online
Oh.
buys.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh,
what do
easy.
you and how do you feel about that?
Yeah. I see both sides to it. Like, for example, I bought a Naruto SH Figure Arts figure. Pre-ordered it. It arrived. I opened the box. I was like, oh, cool. You know, I have the Turtle 4-pack VHS from Turtles 3 in the living room.
Nice.
You know, whenever I get a chance to open it, oh, cool. You know, it's not the same excitement level as going somewhere, walking that aisle, stumbling on that figure and being like, oh my God, like, yes, like I found it. You know, it doesn't have that same feel. And I find myself even collecting less because of that. But at the same time, gas so expensive, the price of some of these figures, and just even going somewhere being like, oh, it's not here. I'll go to the next one. 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 Because some flipper bought all of them in my area. Like it's just annoying. So like now it's at the point where it's even just more cost effective to order something and get it. But similar to buying a physical media, or sorry, buying a digital versus physical media, the excitement level of like opening that thing is not there. And when a package comes and it's a figure I wanted, I'm like, oh, cool. Eh. But like when you go to the store, you find it, you're checking out, you're in the truck, you're like, yes, you know, like
Dude, I feel
that's
you.
different.
It hits different, and it's funny because Salvatore. I feel like you and I you need to come on my show here, Salvatore,
You
because
should, yeah.
I with comics I feel the same way. Like I have a weekly pull list at
Mm-hmm.
my local shop, and I go to I think it's Den of Geeks, or I forgot the name of the comic book store I shop at. It's like League of Comics or League of Geeks or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And it does every week, and then it just lets me hit a button, and it goes right to my comic book store. They pull my books, and that's it. And if I want the rare covers, they know me well enough to pull them.
Right.
But it's like that's the excitement I get. Like I know what books I'm getting. It's like I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. And I feel like we've lost that luster of going to the store. Like I mean, do I get the still gleeful joy? Like what was it when we came out of seeing Spider-Man and I found the Miles Morales. I didn't find Miles Morales, but I found 2099, Gwen, and the Spot. And my
Yep.
wife was like, "I'm buying them for you," because she's like, "Those we just saw the movie. I know you want them."
Yep. Yep.
That to me was that level of excitement,
Yep.
and I haven't
Yep.
had that in a long time because I could pre-order it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can go and or if one of my friends has it, they'll trade it with me. Maybe
Right.
who knows? I mean,
Well,
because
and that
now that's what it is.
well,
It sucks.
that's I was talking about it, I think, on Thursday, where these I say these companies, it's really Hasbro at this point, which I feel bad sometimes because like Hasbro, like because they're putting out the most volume of everybody, they will take the most criticism over time.
True.
They it really needs to be that when a movie drops, that figure better be in the store at least a month prior. If
Hmm.
it's not, you're gonna F yourself. You're gonna truly F yourself. And I looked, we were looking at the Hasbro Pulse website, and they have the Marvel Legends wave coming, or the Disney Plus wave coming out.
Yep, the new
And
one.
I'm like, I can give two shits about buying that Sam Jackson figure now. Like, I'm definitely gonna wait till clearance. If that figure had dropped, oh, what a
As
coincidence!
it's figure arts.
Different one, but yeah, yeah. Um, if that figure had dropped like 2 months before the show came out, I would have
Dude.
been all in on trying to find that figure because it looks so cool. But the
And it's the
show,
Hydra Stomper. They made it to they didn't even, it's the
the build a
Hydra
figures,
Stomper
yeah,
build a figure. It's like it's
yeah.
not even like we just got the deluxe two
You just
years
got the Hydra
ago.
Stomper. Yeah, that's bigger, I think, than that one.
It's a deluxe figure.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this is a bath, which okay, so the bath for Amadeus Cho is pretty big.
right,
Like comparatively speaking to I'm gonna use a Marvel Legend. Like, yeah,
right.
it's big. So you're telling me the Hydra Stomper is this big?
It's probably gonna be around that big. Yeah, it's
you
crazy.
know. But then the thing is, I saw they measured the leg next to Nick Fury,
Mm-hmm.
and the top of the thigh
Mm-hmm.
cut was like literally right there at his neck.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, so this thing might be big like the Hulkbuster was,
But
but
not like it should be.
no. And I'm like, why am I spending now? Granted, did I pre-order the Wave? Yes, I did. Because I know I'm not gonna go to the store and try to find it.
Right.
And I don't want to pay the markup for it.
Right. You're not gonna waste the gas to go try to find it. Yeah.
Exactly. Dude, at this point, if it's $3.69 a gallon down here in North Carolina, $3.69 a gallon.
Lucky.
If I were to literally drive 20 miles away to South Carolina, which is like 20 minutes from my house, that would be $3.45 a gallon. Not much I'm saving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
yeah.
What, like, to me, I'm like, Target and Walmart. The Target's close to my house. Only like a 15-minute drive to my Target.
Yeah.
But again, like,
are they gonna have what
I'm
you
not
need?
exactly. Are they gonna have it when I can just order through the app, have it shipped to my house?
Yep.
Amazon's been busting out tons of sales on Marvel Legends.
Yep.
All the new Quantumania figures you can literally get for less than retail now.
Yeah.
So, and that's a wave I passed on.
Yeah.
A wave I'm completely passing. I only want the future Ant-Man and the Wasp, which Dave already said he found for me.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't need the rest of the wave. I don't care about building a giant Cassie.
No. Again, like, if that movie, and I appreciate, I mean, to no end, I appreciate Dan Yun from Marvel Legends team. He's on Twitter. The handle's like Dan Yun's trying. And I'm always like, this dude is trying every time. Somebody went at him the day that wave was announced. And I also made a Instagram post, a Twitter post, and was like, how are you dropping the announcement for the Ant-Man wave? Not even pre-orders. The announcement for it, like a week after the movie came out and already bombed in theaters. And he literally jumped in his own comment section and was like, y'all think that we do this on purpose. They moved the date up on us. We had it lined up so that I think the pre-orders would drop and then hopefully the figures would be in hand by the time the movie comes out. But he's like, Marvel moved the date on us and nothing we can do about it. Like, you still got to wait for the molds to come. You still got to approve the molds. You got to do all that stuff. And that's where sometimes I'm like, you know what? We give Hasbro a lot of crap, but I'm like, how much of this is Disney's fault? You know, how much of it is Marvel's fault?
And with Disney going through all the crap they're going through in the parks, it's like, it was me and my wife were talking about going there. And she knows I want to go back there because we had such a great time last Christmas. And I was like, after just looking at our finances and just looking at the state of where Disney's at, I agree with her. We're gonna wait like 3 years.
Oh yeah.
Let them figure their shit out, and then we'll go back to the parks.
I think next year would be a year to go.
Next year would be the year to go, but it's like,
because they're gonna have to run sales next year.
They're running sales now. They're running tons.
This is my my finance tip of the podcast here.
Ooh.
I think next year is the bomb. Next year is the one where people are really like, I can't do shit. Like, I'm hurt. And if you can find a way to save some money, I think next year would be your Disney trip, because they're going to be probably record low visits to Disney next year.
They're saying the parks are pretty much freaking empty right now. And it's funny because with this year, we have what? Next year, we have Tiana's Bayou comes out. Tron's going to be out of the phase, out of testing, and they'll have it full on where people don't have to get on a virtual queue. They're opening up 100 new restaurants, but that's it.
Maybe by then they announce a new Star Wars thing.
Hopefully they let them fix Rise of the Resistance, because we didn't even get to get on that. We were there. Me and Lana wanted to get on Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah,
it was down for refurbishment, and it had been down. And I looked up on the app, and I looked at the Disney travel blog, and they were like, well, we're sorry that, and then I remember going to a cast member, and I was like, look, I said, this is the first time I've been here in 15 years. Come on, man, cut me a break. My kid it's her birthday. Y'all, why is it down? Oh, we're fixing stuff. There's people that still go there and they still say the same things are down, that they haven't fixed since it went down to the ride back when it opened 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was like, I throw my
Yeah.
hands up.
I want to go and do the lightsaber build just for the
That's what we
experience.
missed out on doing. We missed out on doing
But
that.
yeah, it's like I'm gonna go and get it on a queue, maybe get a chance to experience it. And I made a video when I first like rebooted this channel where I was like, save your money, go to Comic-Con, don't go to Disney World, because the 501st probably has a giant ass booth at a Comic-Con where you can take pictures with Rey, take pictures with Vader, take pictures with R2D2. There's going to be some dude hustling lightsabers you can build. Buy it there. And yeah, Yoda's not like, where's your saber in the air? Like, you don't get that part, but you save a hell of a lot of money going to
Oh, yeah,
Comic-Con
dude.
versus going to Disney World.
Dude, it was okay. Build a lightsaber experience, $300.
Yep.
Right. I have Cal Kestis. Lana has what was it? Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
Mhm.
Those two lightsabers with the extenders, with
Yep.
the actual lightsaber,
With the actual blade.
with the blades, were like $420
For
So
both.
for both lightsabers.
Yep.
So we left
Yep.
the park with two lightsabers, fully functional,
Yep. 400 bones.
and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's where I gave Hasbro shit on
One second.
Thursday. Yep. I'll tell it to the rest of you guys. I gave Hasbro shit last Thursday on Hey Archer Live because they announced the Ahsoka lightsabers to the earlier point. Announced it last week. Show comes out, what, 2 weeks from now? Lightsabers will not release estimated October of next year, 2024. On top of that, for the price, you're only getting one lightsaber for a character that has two. Why not do some kind of bundle deal and get two lightsabers for the price of, I don't know, 1.5, maybe one? But you gotta meet us halfway there at some point. And I feel like so many of these companies now, they just don't want to do the bundle thing. They don't want to do the deal thing. It's kind of like, no, this is what it is. Price is what it is. As Fat Joe said, yesterday's price is not today's price, whatever it is. But I think we need to get back to bundles. We need to get back to discounts because it's getting hard. It's getting hard out here. And if you got freaking a family and you're trying to go to Disney World, I understand, Jimmy, you want to build a lightsaber, but 300 bones for a lightsaber. Go to Comic-Con, get a fresh one that actually is a combat saber for like $150. So I don't know. They're making it tough out here. Making it tough out here for a pimp. That's all I can say.
Oh, they definitely are, because like you said, being a family, when you have a family and your family goes to go see a movie or
Oh,
see
yeah.
anything there, like the Build a Droid was $150.
Yeah.
For the droid, for
Yeah.
Rory. She played with it twice.
Yeah.
But Lana and I built it. Really,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I built it. Lana built it. And if y'all watch my channel, if you guys watch this channel, you'll have to see Lana actually build the droid.
Yeah.
So, which was cool.
Yeah.
So, dope shit.
Yeah.
But again, it's, do you spend $150 for the one-time experience,
Right.
or could you buy it elsewhere?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So it comes. It's interesting, man. It's very
strange times.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it with toys. We talk about it with comics. We talk about it with movies. What's the best way to go about it? We don't know, folks. But I don't want to keep you any longer because I know you had just had a long day of work, and I can keep going on and on and on and on and on. But I do want to say thank you, brother, for being the first member on this podcast that I'll be doing on Mondays.
It is an honor.
And I love it. So okay, I will take care of you. And as I'm going to take care of my daddy duties,
there you
folks,
go.
Thank you. Make sure y'all check him out on his Mondays, because please tell us where they can find you.
Nerdaffiliated.com, links for everything. Nerd Affiliated on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, all that stuff. But links can be found nerdaffiliated.com.
Yes, and I will post it in this video once it's posted officially to YouTube. And y'all know where you can see me. You find me here on Mondays. You'll see me also on Wednesdays with our podcast, the Outer Dimension podcast with Dave and Dre. And you guys also know that I do my lives and they're random. They haven't been happening because we're starting to get back in our flow for school. So, and like I said, this one she's needy. So, but she's my boo. So I love her to death. So I thank you guys. I thank you, Mr. Hey Archer, and I love you, brother. And oh, look, she says she loves you.
Love you too.
He says he loves you too. She said, "I love you, brother." I love her. When she does
Love that.
So y'all be good, and thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you next week, where we're gonna have JJ from John Joker gonna be hanging out with us.
Awesome.
All right? Stay easy, y'all. Peace, guys. And we're gonna end.